Okay.
All right, thanks everyone for sticking around to the very end. I just have a little bit to say before handing it over to Matthew, but these are the closing remarks for the AIIDE 2025, right, in Edmonton. So yeah, I just have a couple slides. So summary, according to the data that we got from AAAI, I think the usual phrase is, to the best of our knowledge.
There it is.
This is the largest in-person AID since 2008, so that's pretty good. The numbers for basically everything were up. 21 posters, 12 DC abstracts. I'm hoping that next year we'll get a similar 12x increase in doctoral consortium participation. So we'll see how that goes. 7 papers, 7 case studies, 7 paper.
Sorry, that should have been oral accepts. Or yeah, I meant oral accept there.
Okay.
I put these together last night. I have no print.
We had 3. Yeah, there was.
I know, if you believe it. There were 17.
Yeah, okay. It's missing the number. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's true. We could. Well, it's fine. We can fix it later. We put the 3 great keynotes and the excellent welcome event that was organized. Yeah, so I think everything, is increasing in numbers, quality, and so on. And I think everything went quite well. And thanks everyone for attending and participating. The numbers, things wouldn't have been increasing and improving without, the community participation and submitting things, reviewing things, coming to the conference and everything. So it's great to see. And looking ahead to 2026, I'm sure everyone is interested to find out a little bit what we can reveal about next year's AID.
I picked this up way too much.
And so far we can reveal that next year the general chair will be Matthew, and we're very close to knowing about the location, but we don't completely have it.
Not because of us.
For next year,
on us.
We were hoping, but this is what we know, and hopefully we'll announce soon so that the call and everything can be up. Because that was one of the things that came up, just so people know what to plan for and that kind of thing. So should be soon, but still TBD, but very close. It's been being worked on behind this.
Yep, literally sent an email about it moments ago.
Yes, yeah. And actually, before I hand it over to Matthew, I just wanted to say an extra thank you. The general chairing experience this year has been very smooth and nice and to work on. Matthew's been a great program chair this year. A lot of, it's a real team effort and a lot of people worked on it, but, Matthew put a lot of work into it and, things going smoothly, the improvement and everything, I think is, a lot of it can be traced back to like Matthew's hard work, I think, managing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, I will hand it over. I think, yeah, so, next year, I think AIDE is going to be in great hands. I don't think I could imagine, I can't think of anyone better probably to work on it and be general chair next year based on my experience, this year working with him. So yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to take over things with the rewards and finishing out the closing.
Thanks, Seth. I do want to say real quick, I was hoping we would be able to say it's explicitly going to be in this location. I'll say this at least, there's a 50-50 shot it'll be in the US, which means something about the other 50 shot, I think, that we can say. More on that in the coming weeks, not months. So, awards. So quick reminder, here were our awards, in case you missed it. We did the test of time already, that was already presented. If you're curious, David Silver did end up reaching out and saying, oh, did you already present? After we had already presented, but he at least knows that happened. That's good. Some other awards that we're about to announce. Best Program Committee Member, Best Paper Award, Best Student Paper Award, Best Poster Paper, and Best Case Study Award. I'm going to announce them in this order. So it's going to go Best Case Study Award, Best Poster Paper, Best Program Committee Member, then, sorry, reverse that was too. Best Student Paper, and then Best Paper. So, how does this work? Best Case Study. What happened here was we took a look at Max and M's original reviews of all the papers. We also did a quick scan throughout the evening last night to get a sense of what were the case studies that seemed maximally engaging and interesting to the audience. And with all that said, drumroll, it's going to mic check, integrating generative AI into gameplay. Yep. Pause. They're already gone. The whole team is already gone, but they will be getting these sent over to them for later. The next one, best poster paper. Very similar. So we went through all of the original reviews that were made for all the original paper submissions. We then went through and looked at in the evening sessions what was going well, what was going poorly, what were the posters. I actually took pictures of posters. I asked a bunch of people's opinions. What did you like? I synthesized all of this information into my own brain, not even a large language model, if you can believe it. And so the best poster paper goes to Signals of Struggle, Detecting Player Difficulties Using Machine Learning from Davina Ali and David Tui. Congratulations. Over here, and I think maybe we can get Emily or somebody else, or people are already taking photos. Fantastic. For you, we can ask you to hold those out in between us. We can look over this direction and get some photos. Smiling cheese. Fantastic. Thank you both. All right. I believe that at least one of my students said, I really liked the Terraria one. So well done. Okay. Next up, best program committee member. This one was entirely subjective. I'm not, there was no reviews, there was no ratings, but I don't know if you noticed, but Seth and I both submitted papers to this conference. Ooh, evil, shouldn't do that if you're organizers. And so because of that, there was one individual who stepped up, who not only did his own reviews, but also served as a temporary program chair. So I'd like to give this to none other than Richard Zhao. Thank you so much. Sorry to make you go up and down the stairs over and over again. You thought you were done. We getting done? Take photo. Fantastic. And we'll work from David. Fantastic. Thanks so much. Okay. So as a reminder, in case you didn't see, the welcome thingy, the opening thingy is the thing that I meant. Again, I might have mentioned I have no brain left. We changed it up a little bit for the best and the student best papers this year. So I had these four fantastic individuals, prior general and program chairs, who responded to me asking, hey, would you be willing to do a ranked choice voting over these awards? Earlier, Stephen asked me, would I go over how that went? So I'm going to go over how that went a little bit. So over here, you can see the distribution. The projector kind of washes it out, but those are different colors for different voters of the rankings given to the 8 papers that were nominated for best paper awards. You might be able to notice there's some really high variance, right? But there's also ones that are quite low variance, right? So overall, I made use of instant runoff. So you'll note that sometimes there aren't 4 dots. Sometimes that's because they're literally overlapping. They have the same ranking. But sometimes it's because they were conflicted. They just didn't vote on that one. So instant runoff meant that we basically looked at a plurality of people who said this was the worst, no offense, of the 8. They're all fantastic papers, but the worst of the best. And then we slowly eliminated until we were down to just the top ones, right? So this is the way that this process ended up working. Their inter-rater reliability is pretty bad, 28. If you know anything about working among inter-raters, you're looking for like 85, so not great. This is Spearman's Row. And I could say some things about people who are more or less similar, but I would bet that everybody looking at this list could go, I bet I know who's more and less similar. So this is weak correlation, it's not significant. But there was, I thought this was interesting, there was strong alignment on the papers that are going to get awards, right? So from this process, we took the top paper as the best paper and the next best student-authored paper as the student best paper. And basically, all of them were student best papers. So this is basically first and second place according to this ranking. So overall, what I recommend doing is thinking about this in terms of the results as best understood as the most consistently highest ranked papers, right? So I don't know what this is going to mean in terms of the long-term success of this process. I don't know if we'll do this again. This is how it worked this time. So with that, a quick reminder, these were the top eight. So these were all nominated for these sort of best and best student paper award nominees. If you're on this list, you're already like an incredibly impressive paper, right? It's the top 50% of roughly of the 17 papers accepted for full oral acceptance. So these are all really good papers. You should put this on your CV. I've never won a best paper award from AIIDE. I put the nominations on my CV. You should too. But with that, let's talk about the best student paper. Best student paper goes to generic guard AI and self-GANs and composite potential field for ID2 and Great. Look over there. Excellent. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay. And then the best paper award from AIIDE 2025 is Speeding Up Narrative Planning Using Fog of War Pruning, Lasantha and Steven. Congratulations. It's a shame Lasantha can't be here. I hope that you can hand him the certificate and let him know. Well, congratulations. I mean, take pictures. Phenomenal. Congratulations. All right. So, hey, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for taking part. I think this is a really successful AIDE. I mostly got to see it like through a pinhole of like laser focused on getting stuff done. But overall, I think it went really well. And that's all thanks to you all showing up, putting in papers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to do some quick thanks. Thanks again to the University of Alberta for hosting this dang thing. Thanks to AAAI for their support. You know, we might have done some complaining about why can't we, et cetera, from AAAI, but they really do a ton of work for this. It's really helpful. Chesley and Kelly put in a ton of work. Kelly, you've seen this whole time. You know, she did the whole poster setup and breakdown basically single-handedly. You know, she put a ton of work in this. Our gold sponsors, Edmonton Screens, Scaffold, T2, and Alberta Innovates. We still got some Edmonton Screens folks. Shout outs hanging out there. Thank you so much for all your sponsorship. Yeah, totally. And of course, we also have two T2 people in the back over here. So you also should say thanks to them. Our silver sponsor, Artificial Agency. Unfortunately, as we said, they couldn't make it to the talk that they were going to give to you this lunch, but hopefully many of you got to hang out and see their cool demo during the week. I also say that, you know, they basically reimbursed us for the lunch, so we basically got us double the sponsorship in terms of covering the lunch. So thank you very much to them. That was very nice. And then Amy, who gave us the space for the welcome event that I think went really well. Shout outs to the welcome event organizers again, and to the Artificial Intelligence Journal, Elsevier, who gave us like the initial sponsorship that really kicked off the sort of wave of sponsors that we were able to get. So thanks to them as well. So I'm not quite done. You know, I've made a career of basically stealing things from Mike Cook, so I stop now. So, you know, Mike put this up for EGZAG when he was giving his keynote. He put EGZAG 2035, and I don't know if you can tell, but I did a very careful Photoshop on it. So this is actually obviously EGZAG from 2015, and I put a subtle indicator around a certain someone who might look familiar. That was me. That was my very first EGZAG, my very first AIDE that I was at. And part of my goal here, you know, obviously like there as well, like you can tell, right? But it's a lot of the same faces. But part of my goal with this year was I really wanted to give other people the same kind of experience that I got 10 years ago, right? Coming here and seeing all this, and geez, why am my throat's going? Ugh. But thank you all so much for making this happen. Thanks for making it such a success, and I hope that I will see you for 2026 and for 2035 and beyond. Thank you all.